Buddy is watching this and can let me know that I am back, I would appreciate it. Hey, so the encoder just died. Don't really know what's up with that. So if anybody is watching, let me know you see it. I would certainly appreciate it. Does anybody out there hear me? Hello. Let's see. Who do I have in the room? Almost Korean. Philip Stefano. Hi there, handsome. Long grinds. And arbitrage. Well, anyway, I'm going to keep moving forward. Thank you, Philip. I appreciate that. Yeah, let's continue with this exploratory data analysis. Okay, so we want to know what are the unique kinds of data types for historical targets. And we can see that is train and validation. I'm just going to type these. It'll be slightly faster. And what about the unique targets in target 20 day? I already know some of these answers, but you know, for posterity's sake, so we got 0, 0.25, 0.5, 0.75, and 1. And we want to, double check that also on target 20 day. It's the same, but, good to just check in advance. Maybe there's some weird oddball thing in there. All sorts of stuff happens with data analysis, data preparation, so it's good to have some checks. There are some NAs. So we'll just copy paste this and add NA to the front. And I do believe that those NAs are from the rows that are less than 20 days old, which totally makes sense. Let's add a comment below that. Something that we could test later just to make sure. I'm going to note that this is a hypothesis because we haven't proved this yet. We could do it with a data analysis, but I think we should do some more interesting stuff first. And we can come back to that later if we feel like it. Probably when we're working with target 20 would be a good time for that. Alright, is there anything else we want to really get an idea of? Let's do some length calls as well. So we want to know how many unique tickers there are and how many Friday dates there are. So we'll do length of unique of historical targets, Bloomberg ticker. And that's 13,262. And we'll do the same for the Friday dates. I'm going to see if I can remember. I think it's like 800? Is it 800 Fridays? We'll see. That's my guess. Sometimes it's fun to guess stuff. Appreciate everybody who supports me streaming and creating this kind of content. I know it might not seem like much right now, but the last time I did this, just a single 4-hour stream, I went from 0 to having naive submission files. I think that's pretty significant, and I think that we'll accomplish some really cool, useful stuff with this. So, how many unique dates do we have? 964. It was more than I guessed. 964 unique Friday dates. That's also a hypothesis that they're actually Fridays. We haven't tested that, and that would be pretty annoying to write code to test, so let's assume they're right for now. So we want to also do some of this for example signals upload. So we've already looked at the head, so let's do data type, and let's do NumeriTicker ticker and Friday date, and then we'll have to do something with signal. I'm just going to make a little note so I don't forget, because I'm going to paste and modify to create these. So that's the end of that 25 minutes. I'll do this, and then I think I'll probably just do another 25 before I take another break, because I'm really feeling it. Oh, let me fix my typo up there. I kept trying to type backspace, but instead I got the slash. Alright, so we're going to replace historical targets with example signals upload. We'll have to fix Bloomberg ticker to NumeriTicker ticker also. And then we'll also have to delete one of these because there's no 20-day signal. I'm just ripping and running with these. I know I might delete one of these lines. Okay, so we'll delete target 20-day. And we'll delete target because we're working with signal. There's no target column in this data frame. Let's see what we got. Validation and live. I've had the idea, and I've realized, like, oh yeah, I've had the idea that maybe we don't even need Yahoo data to make a seaworthy prediction. Okay, So, not going to worry about trying to make Zoom work today since it's crashing my computer. But I do appreciate the support from everybody watching. Thank you. Okay. So we have validation and live in our example signals upload. And we have I guess I could do one that exactly replicates the Python one by just like pulling that file and then uploading the example upload. But that's so cheesy. It's so cheesy. I could maybe I can incorporate the example upload and try to make it like better by blending it into something, or maybe it'll make mine better if mine's worse, which is very possible. So anyway, we have validation and live. I think if we end up making a model that doesn't even use Yahoo data, doesn't use any external data but stuff from Numerai, then what we do is we train on the train data type in historical targets, and we validate on validation, and maybe we break it up some more, like look into the Marcos Lopez de Prado books and get inspired. And then submit live. Philip Stefano is asking if we can zoom the editor font. Yeah, absolutely. I think I know how to do that. Because when I go into AWS, I should do a tutorial on this sometime too. When I do the supercomputer RStudio. Font size. Let's make it a lot bigger. How's that? It's a bit big. I'm gonna make it a little smaller. Let me know. Let's do that. I like that. Okay. Philip, let me know if you like that or if you want it bigger. I got you. Appreciate it. Thank you, team. Okay, so I forget what I was saying, but that's all right. Awesome. Thank you, Philip. So let us. Oh yeah. Well, we want to. Okay, so we see there's validation in live, and then I got like really distracted by myself because I have a lot of ideas. And I'm gonna reset the clock after I fix this. After we do this little stage of the EDA, which stands for Exploratory Data Analysis. If you so like. 5,258. So that's different than that 13,262. And it's almost 5,280, which is how many feet are in a mile. And since I live in the Denver area, and Denver is the mile-high city, there's tons of businesses around here called 5280 Cannabis or 5280 Childcare or whatever, There's literally hundreds of them. So we have 5,258 unique tickers. Let's see how many Fridays we've got. 441. But you know what? That's not super interesting. That just tells us about like the validation. So let's see how big the validation. So we want to explore variable signal. I'm going to try to keep my promises to myself. And we also want to see length, Fridays, validation. Okay. And then we also want to take a look at that with the historical targets. See, is our validation set the same in the signals upload example as it is in historical targets, or is there some area of non-overlap there? That's something I'd like to know sooner than later. Let me just open up my thing. All right, so we'll do another 25 minutes. Just skipping that break, you know, really chugging along. And then we'll do a 10-minute break after this one because I am a little bit hungry. And I'm trying to go till about 4:15. Feeling a lot better than I did this morning, which is nice. I'm, you know, taking care of yourself is smart and it pays off. All right. Cool. So we got the bigger font happening. And you know what? I like this too. I could probably see this. I have a chair I like to sit in over here. This little couch chair sometimes. This would be easier for me to see from there too. I need to get a good office chair though. I have been skimping on everything. I might have a job soon though. That would be cool. Who knows? We'll see. So those are other things I say all the time. So if anyone ever makes a Liz streaming bingo, it should count the number of times I say, all right, who knows? We'll see. So we have 441 unique Fridays. And we'll want to know, what about how many Fridays do we have in example signals upload when the data type is equal to validation? So just kind of putting on a class here for if anyone's like new to doing data analysis in R. Here's how Liz sets up lots of different like stacked functions and indexing into things. So let's call that example validation. I might have to shorten this. This is index. It's pretty long. And then we'll make example validation index. So we want to say, you know, when is the example signal submission upload data type equal to validation. So this is where the which function comes into play, you know. Someone ever writes a clever book about it or article, they could call it witchcraft. So we want to say which example signals. It's not giving me my suggestions. I wonder if it's getting droppy. Example signals upload data type. And it's good to, you know, take a look at what's happening with this stuff when you're setting these kinds of indexing operations up, because it's easy to like get it mixed up and accidentally do it on the columns instead of the rows, or like miss one thing here or there, and then everything's all borked. So as you're setting it up, if you check your work as you're going, it's a good principle. Which example signals upload data type equals, which is how we test equality rather than assignment in R, equals validation. Oh, this is such a long line of code. I'll leave it there even though it goes past my my illegal bar. Okay, that worked. Length 440. Hey, that makes sense, right? So let's just note that real quick. 440 unique Friday dates in example signals upload. And let's copy paste and make the modifications we need to say, what about in the historical data? Actually, let's just put that up there with the historical data. Unique validation Friday dates. So we'll do that up here in historical, and then we'll continue with our exploratory data analysis. So we want to say historical instead of example. And if it's 440, that makes our lives pretty easy as far as not having to figure stuff out more about intersection and non-intersection. So that's what I hope for. 446. Okay. So that's weird. I wonder why that is. Anyway, let's blaze ahead, as it were. So we did the Friday's validation. Now we want to know something about the signal variable in example validation, or excuse me, example signals upload. So let's do a summary call. So this is another very useful function in R. Example signals upload signal. And you can call this on an entire data frame, and it'll summarize like the different columns of the data frame. But with columns like numeride ticker and Friday date and data type mixed in, I think I like kind of breaking it out like this, about like what do I want to know about each of them. Although that is a totally valid way to start looking at like what's in your data, and it'll tell you a lot of information. Okay, so we'll just copy paste this into here. But we have a minimum of 0.3.119. Oh my goodness. The selection is difficult. Alright, I'm just going to copy it like that and then delete out. Okay. We have a maximum of 0.6383. And we can see the first quartile through the third quartile only covers, 0.0035. A lot of stuff in here is, in a very, very narrow band. And this really fits with what a lot of people have been saying about how their ranking targets are coming out. So, and I know it doesn't, I believe I've read and tested that it doesn't matter, the range itself isn't so important. as the relative stuff is. Although there might be I think stuff needs to be between 0 and 1 in the case of signals. What did I mess up here? Oh yeah. Okay, that's the thing I was gonna delete. Cool. Can I double tab? Yes. Excellent. All right. So we know some stuff. We've done our like cursory exploration. So let's format this a little bit prettier. I know 34 isn't that old for like data programmers, but I like to think of myself as an old school programmer, and it probably shows some in how I set up my formatting and my commenting. Let's call it initial. So, what do we want to look at next? Thinking about it, probably want to like start looking at distributions a little bit better, and knowing numeri, there's probably a lot of like normalization that's happened, so that'll be interesting. But I'm thinking like I like the idea of making an approach based on like historical targets. That could be strong. We'll see. So instead of initial data analysis, let's take a look at what we've got so far again. Sorry for the glitchy screen, everybody. Alright, so we've looked at the header for each of our two data frames here. We've seen that there are many more tickers in the historical data than there are in the example submission, which I likely incorrectly assume has all or most of them. It probably has most, at least. Maybe it does have all of them. I don't know. But you know, there's about twice as many in historical as there are in the example submission tickers. That is. So likely different stocks of like different companies have died, have merged, have delisted, have changed their name. Maybe the name change doesn't matter with how this formatting's set up. I'm not entirely sure. Anyway, so we have that. We have data type, so maybe we'll just do the EDA on the training data set. I'm curious what everyone's opinion about like EDA is. Should you only do EDA on the training data set? Do you also do your exploration on the validation data? we'll do it on the train for now. It's a safer, it's a conservative version of whatever approach you take with your model development. And we'll probably want to look at what the distributions look like, and maybe like at a high level. Maybe we'll get into looking at stuff over time a little bit different, a little bit later. I mean, like we can later on we can get into like how many tickers are there per different Friday and stuff like that. So let's do a first distributional exploration. And we're going to do that on the training data only. So let's say that train gets historical targets. We'll name an index in there. And I put the comma because like the first part is for rows, the second part is for columns. We'll call it training index, and then we'll construct our training index. So training index gets which historical targets data type equals train. All right. And we'll do a check or two to just make sure we're not working with an empty object after this concludes. Taking a bit to chug through this. All right, there we go. Cool. So let's just do a dim. See what the dimensions are of our new object, train. It's pretty huge. 2, 1, 4, 8, 9, 5, 8 by 5. So it's 2,148,958 rows and 5 columns. Okay. Seems acceptable. Something we should probably test sometime is just to make sure that the boundaries are sensical. So like, are the Fridays in train all contiguous? Do they overlap at all with validation? That would be good to check. I think that Let's say max train Friday date, and let's say min example signals upload Friday date. Yes. Excellent. They do defer. Now this test is not like fully summary. Like, it's possible they're interspersed in some way, but I think this is a acceptable test. 2012, 12/28, 2013. Okay. So we're doing our first distributional exploration. So we want to start by summaries of target and target 20. So in this first distributional exploration, we're just looking at like whole data set distributional properties. So we'll do these summaries and we'll paste those in as well. So it's, oops, it's interesting. Not much juice to that, I'd say. And it's the same for 20 days. So minimum of 0, maximum of 1. First quartile, median, mean, and third quartile are all 0.5. Not surprising, given it is NumRI data. I imagine it would look similar Friday by Friday. Quite likely, I think. we'll probably like bring Yahoo price data in at some point so we can try to make sure it's not just momentum based. That's our second ding. Let's try to do like something else with this and like leave a note for where we want to go with it before I take my next break. So I'll after that I'll take a 10-minute break and come back and we'll continue coding. What can I get as far as information? So let's do standard deviation. What's the name for that? Alright, so let's see what the variance is. We got 0.04997241 is the variance of the target, and standard deviation of the target is 0.223 5451, and the variation of the 20-day target is 0.04983307. The standard deviation is 0.2232332. Make that pretty. What about the correlation between train target and train target 20-day? Pretty high correlation. 0.3745201. What about their covariance? Oops. Point 0.018689556. All right, so that's all interesting, pretty basic stuff. Kind of conclusions can we draw about that? There's a relatively small variance among both kinds of targets. They're both just shy of 0.05. There's a high correlation, probably unsurprisingly, between target and target 20 day. Covariance of 0.0187. Um, This is what I do when I'm thinking and I forget that I'm on camera. To tell us anything interesting. Maybe that target can be used in part to predict target 20 day or target itself. There's a lot of momentum in there. You know, Richard noted that at some point, though he doesn't like that. So maybe avoiding momentum would be better. Um, where do we want to go from here? So I think where I want to go from here is um, set as, so I want to set a smaller, like a smaller version of train for exploring. I don't want to like reveal a ton of information, and working on a smaller piece will probably be quick. That'll be good. So set a smaller train and examine distributional qualities Friday by Friday. I think that sounds like a good place to go. So I'm going to do a long break for 10 minutes and then I'll come back. Testing. Testing. All right. We're back. All right, let's just jump straight into it. So I'm going to pull back to our studio. Hey everybody, hope everyone's doing well. I ate some yogurt during that 10-minute break and I went outside again. It's really nice to go outside. Moving around though, it's like making me dizzy. It's not the best. Reminds me I should drink some water. Okay, so our current goal is to do some Friday by Friday distribution. Let's say let's do some formatting. This is going to be the second distributional exploration on a subset of the training data. Alright, so we'll say first let's get those Fridays. We'll do that by calling unique of train Friday date. Let's look at the head. And we'll look at the tail. Gotta get down on Fridays. Cool. Okay, and we know that there's 800 of those. I think 800 something length. Fridays. Oh, 518. So we'll make a Fridays subset. Let's say the first 75 Fridays. Do 1:75. That gives us 1 through 75. So now we want to make the actual subset. What do we want to call that? So let's call it train subset. Train subset gets train subset index, comma, and so we'll say subset index gets which train Friday date. Oh yeah, by the way, something we'll do as part of our ongoing development is work ultimately with 20-day targets, because at the end of August, Signals is switching to 20-day targets. Go ahead and check out the Numerai forum for a notice about that, I believe from Chains. So any 4-day development we do here will also adapt to 20-day at some point. If you're watching this sometime in the future and you're like, why are they using 4-day, blah, blah, blah. Well, that's just what it is right now. So, okay, so we don't want to use the equals equals operator when constructing the subset index. We want to use the in. And this is another case where I like to, really make sure I'm checking my work. Because these kinds of operations can get kind of tricky. So which is in Friday's subset? Like, I may need to actually reverse that. I'm not sure. So let's look at the head of train subset for a sanity check. And we'll look at the tail too. Make sure the Fridays seem to match up. Yeah, looks good. Okay. Great. Okay, so over these Fridays, in Friday's subset, maybe we should look at the mean, the median, the variance, the covariance. Oh, well, not the covariance. I don't think that's well, yeah, why not? different kind of things though between. So let's do like singular data set, singular target, and then inter-targets. So look at that for target and target 20 day. The keen eye towards target 20 day, since that's where the development is really heading. Now I'm gonna adjust this this bar over here. I don't use the environment tab very much, so I'm just gonna blow this one up over here. Go over to plots. So we'll start with target, and then we'll do target 20 day. So I like to set up vectors that I can come back to later. I can iterate upon them, and then, you know, I can fine tune a plot later to, if I want to change how the plot looks or pretty it up for some sort of publishing. So target means gets vector. Median variance. And we'll set up a for loop. We'll call our indexing variable index date. We'll go over Friday's subset. We'll say data Friday gets I'll also set up an index. Friday indices gets which, what did we call it? Train subset. Let's train subset. Data is equal to index state. And we'll use that index to construct our single Friday data frame. target means gets, and C, if you went like 1 2 3 2 1, would be a list 1 2 3 2 1. This is how I like to build lists inside of a for loop. So it gets itself target means, and on to the end we will add the mean, of data Friday variable target. I'll make these for medians and variances as well. Not expecting a lot here, but this is just, you know, a place to start. We're trying to develop some better understanding of the data, and I think this is a good way to go. We could also look at like higher moments. I've been curious about if there's any signal to be had by examining like some of the higher moments among these data, since they're definitely normalized to at least the lower moments. And then we'll set up, oh, I wrote variances instead of var. Silly. Okay. Copy, paste. Set up some plot calls down here for when we're ready for it. Alright, let's see. Okay. Okay, so means go from 0.498 to 0.5005. That 0.498, that's pretty low. That seems significant to me. Let's look at the medians. All the same, no surprise. And let's look at the variances. Ranging from about 0.0494 to about 0.0506. They're pretty close, but they do vary somewhat. Now, I'll be curious to see what happens when we replicate this for target 20 day. So we'll copy paste this. And then we'll throw in the 20 day there. See if we get any errors. Probably not, but we will see. So I could do a find replace and that might be smart for this, but I want to make sure I don't miss anything. So I'm going through line by line. We'll pop those into the plot calls as well, and then double check. Try to see if we miss anything. Okay, let's run it. Alright, so the 20-day means go from 0.4985 to 0.5015. That's, again, a little further down than up. It's interesting. Medians are flat. And the 20-day variances go from 0.0494 to 0.0504. Very interesting stuff. Okay, so what do we want to do next? It's possible we could sort these. That's what it looks like when we sort the means, the 20-day means, that is, over those first 75 Fridays. And there's the variances for the same. Let's look at the means again. It looks like almost smooth stepwise. I wonder if there's anything to that. I wonder if there was a way to do nearest neighbors related to this somehow. Okay. So anyway, That's what it looks like over those first 75 days, comparing those. And our 25-minute timer has gone off, so we're due for a 5-minute break. I definitely need it, but I want to think about what do I want to do next. I think I want to look at the Friday by Friday correlation. From target to target 20 day. And what else do I want to do? Could do some like momentum study or something. My brain's kind of dead. Alright, I'm gonna just do the 5-minute break. All right, all right, all right. We still got 20 seconds, huh? All right, welcome back, everybody. Just want to give a shout out to Aventurine. What's up, dude? He was super cool in San Francisco and gave me some rides and hung out a bunch at Numerai, etc. Yeah, y'all. We're getting through it. I am kind of slow brained right now, so we'll see how it all goes. All right, so I want to look at a Friday by Friday correlation between the target and target 20-day. Probably should come up with some other stuff to look at too. I'm just not sure what, like we could do like a momentum prediction. But I don't know. All right, let's do the correlation graph. So we'll copy all this junk up here. Because the forum is good. And then we'll modify it to show the correlation between the target and the 20-day target. So Aventurine, since you're just joining us, we're looking at some exploratory data analysis on the first 75 Fridays available in the historical signals target data file. Oh yeah, so Alex Aventurine asks, how do you feel about the 20-day announcement drop? I've been expecting it. It's coming sooner than I expected, and honestly, that makes me happy. Like they're on it. They're getting more on it for when they're rolling out stuff that they're talking about. I love it. Fortunately, I'm not already like staking a bunch or heavily invested in signals models on a 4-day, so this is fine for me and a good time for me to be like, oh, I'm developing models openly and privately. I should do that for 20-day rather than the 4-day target, since I'm only going to get the opportunity to, submit on 4-day a couple times. Like, I'm just going to go straight for 20. But yeah, like we're looking at the 4-day and the 20-day target in here, and just trying to like do some initial exploration and get some ideas cranking about it. Like, okay, so what should we call this variable? Oh, we'll just delete what we need to first. So we only need like one line per little pattern section here. Let's see. So correlations. We'll call it correlations. And my apologies, Aventurine. I've been streaming for about 2.5 hours already, so I am my brain isn't doing wonderfully. but we're making it work. We're getting there. All right. So see correlations core instead of mean. Let's say core and target. And then we'll look at it. We'll see how do those correlations change. We know that like overall there's a 0.37 correlation between target and target 20 day, but like what about Friday by Friday for those first 75 Fridays? I don't know what any of the Twitch emojis mean. I see it looks like that one is a crying or a gasping man, which I'm sure is appropriate. Alright, so there we go with the correlations. So they range from as low as under 0.20 to as high as above 0.45. Kind of centering around that like 0.37 or 0.38 kind of line. That stuff is really interesting to me. Like how can I best take advantage of this? And I don't know. And I don't think they're going to continue to provide the 4-day targets. So I don't want to just like assume that those are good. So we've looked at that. Oh yeah, and Aventurin, we haven't even loaded in like Yahoo data or anything like that yet. We're just looking at the historical data file and the example submission data file. Another idea I had was to neutralize whatever submission I make, neutralize it against or like how take the Python example and neutralize that against mine. I bet that would like help with MMC, but it might mess everything up, and it might not really make sense either. You know, I'm not sure. So let's scroll back up to some of the exploratory part. Use this page up. I wanna try to make a model of some kind, right? Like let's look at what the goals I set up were. So we've done some really basic EDA. Now, what about making a model? So let's say 4 weeks before, 5 weeks before. Maybe we should look at like how predictive the previous 20-day target is of the future. It's super momentum based though. The momentum kind of sucks. Let's see. What do I want to do? We've got like 5,000 tickers per era, basically. Maybe we could do like a Bayesian model. It'd be kind of like momentum, but it could be like based on the last blank number of weeks. How did other stuff perform? I'd be curious. What about if we look at like fuck it. Let's do 20-day target. Predicting 20-day target 5 weeks in advance. And then like at least it's something. Something we could even like use in the future to neutralize a homebrewed target, since they don't like factor investing. At Numerai, they want to, avoid the beta and get the alpha. So let's say, let's call it 5 week. Oh, well, wait. Okay. Getting loopy. Yeah, let's make like a rudimentary model. So let's do some proper formatting for that too. This like variation in the correlations and such is it's really fascinating to me. I think that there's likely to be quite a bit of juice to that. So we're going to do a momentum rudimentary model, even though everybody hates that. It's at least something to run with. So our hypothesis here is that target 20 day is predictive of target 20 day in 5 weeks. So we'll have to construct that. We'll have to construct, like, how are we structuring this little experiment? So we want to have training data. Let's have validation data. We'll keep it simple. And we'll get fancy with more data in the future when we think we have, like, an actually good idea. I don't really like this idea. So we'll use train subset, which is the first 75 Fridays, as the training data. And then let's make the validation data be after a 10-week, or after a 10-week gap. It's gonna be the next 75 Fridays. And we'll call that validation subset. So let's make our validation subset train subset. Just go find where train subset is defined, because we're going to use that. Is 1 through 75. So we got Friday's validation subset. We're just sort of copying some of this logic over here. Renaming stuff so it's not just sloppy. Then we want to construct the target 20-day 5-week columns for each of those and add those in. Let's do a check on validation subset real quick. Actually, I'll do this. So I haven't run it yet. Okay, they're similar. So, how do we get the 5-week target? We do it for train, and we do it for validation. So we'll say train 5-week gets train, and we'll just do train. Not the subsets, because we'll miss it if we do it that way. Train 20-day. 1 takes 75. That's 5 plus 1 to 75. Validation 5-week. Gets 85. Say 6 plus 5, so 90. Okay. Validation F. Huh, big mood, right? Um. Okay. So we want to uh, assign those, and then take another break. And then maybe we'll try to push through to the end of this stream after that break. All right, so we'll say train subset target 20 day 5 week gets train 5 week, and then we'll do the same for validation. Okay, so we've run into an issue there of issue is that, of course, we don't have all the same tickers every time, so doing it like that isn't going to operate cleanly. So we need to comment this garbage out. Make a note. Above doesn't resolve cleanly due to ticker in and out. So, new tickers come in, some tickers go out. So we need to come up with a cleaner solution for that. So we'll do that when we get back from this next 5-minute break. All right. Let me put my camera back on. Man, I do not feel well. All right. Welcome back. Welcome back. I am going to just jump back into it here. Let's try to see if we can come up with this fix. You know what I mean? So, yeah. Alright, so we don't have a cleanly resolving 5-week target here. So, what can we do about it? Now, one thing we kind of have to do is acknowledge that some stuff is going to get dropped, some stuff is going to get added. As far as the tickers that are included or dropped in each different time. So we want to match up the tickers. It makes me wonder, how does it count if a ticker drops during that time frame? You know? It's curious. I'm not really sure what the answer is to that question. What happens if a ticker drops? So I'm just fixing my screen real quick. All right. So, if anyone has any ideas, feel free to say anything. I think we end up modifying the training and validation so that they have tickers in common that are completely in common. And it would be useful to track how many are changing week to week in that kind of case. So we can like collect This is a tough problem. Just keep thinking about it. I'm like, all right, which way do we want to do this? You know? So it's like Friday by Friday. Alright, so we can just like collect the target for all the tickers, check if there are any NAs, and then drop all the NAs. And we can count NAs per Friday. in case there's any of those that drop out. Okay, so let's write that down. So the solution is that we are going to collect the target 5-week ticker by ticker Bali. Come here. And then note any NAs and then remove any NAs in the 5-week target column. All right. So we'll have to go Friday by Friday. Ticker by ticker. So we'll say train date index. Set up some indices. Train date index, it's 1 to 75. Train target index gets train date index plus 5. And then we'll set up the indices for validation. Alright, that should do it. Okay, so for Friday index in train date index, and then we'll make modifications when we do the validation target index version. So for Friday index and train date index, we have well, let's set up the targets as a clearly wrong value. Also, so we have something to write over and also indicate misses. So we'll say that it's equal to repeating negative 888, and we'll set the same for validation. So for Friday index and train date index, say target index is 1 to start. We'll say it's 0. We'll just increment it here at the top. Target index because target index plus 1. Sorry, how rude of me. It's an index for an index, sort of. So that means we don't really need that. We don't need this, which is good because that is janky code. So for Friday index, train date index, target index gets Friday index plus 5. Index plus 5. You want to loop over the tickers. For ticker index, in tickers for this Friday, Tickers Friday. Expand that, and then we'll define Tickers Friday. As the unique tickers. Unique train Bloomberg ticker which is going to be so let's use an index this Friday there. Which we'll define as which, oh my gosh. Which train date? What was it called? What is that called? Should be train subset. Oh. Wow. Friday date. Wait, no, it should be train. Friday date. To use Friday index into Fridays. Okay, that makes sense. Ticker index. Tickers Friday. So then we want to say for each of those tickers, for ticker in Tickers Friday. And then we want to check to see if it exists in 5 weeks. And assign an NA if not. So we'll say exists in 5 weeks is a variable that gets if and then we want to say tickers in 5 Fridays. Realize I'm being pretty quiet, but I'm thinking a lot, trying to figure it out. So we just want to make sure we have some good indices here for dipping in and out of the different times that we want to be sampling. So we have index this Friday, we have index in 5 Fridays. And we want to define this up here to minimize calculations. Alright, cool. So index in 5 Fridays is for tickers, and no, we can just skip that and do like an intersection of sets. Let's see. Is that a function? Yeah, let's test it out. If we say that AAA gets 1 through 50 and triple B gets 45 through 90, and we say the intersection of AAA and triple B, does it make sense? Yes. Excellent. Okay, so this will be save us a for loop at least. So let's say surviving tickers gets intersect of Tickers Friday and Tickers and 5 Fridays. Boom. Okay, this makes sense. Cool. So, given that, and we had a bell go off, but I think we're just gonna work till the close here. Try to finish it out. And so we'll have negative 888 for any ones that that don't intersect with the set in 5 weeks. So we wanted to construct the targets we still might have to do a for loop here. Wait, no. That's surviving tickers. So we can say which ones equals. So we want to say we want to make an index for surviving. We're making a lot of indices today. Alright, so the index of the surviving, which sounds pretty badass. The index of the surviving. So the index surviving, it's going to use surviving tickers and tickers Friday. Should have the same length as surviving tickers. Wait. No. Yeah, should have the same. No, not necessarily. Alright. Anyway, we'll try to construct it and then we'll debug it. So, index surviving gets BBB. Wait, oh, that doesn't make sense. That was from our test. Okay. So index surviving is going to get, it's like tickers Friday in surviving tickers, but throw a which statement on it maybe. Let's see what this looks like. Greetings to whoever just joined us. Welcome, welcome. Thank you for watching today. So I just want to test the behavior of the which statement again. So let's do a AAA gets 1 through 5, BBB gets 5 through 100, and let's say AAA in, let's say which AAA in BBB take a look at that. Whoops. False, true. Okay, this makes sense. Good. So index surviving gets that. So then we want to say index survived gets similar, but like surviving tickers in tickers Friday. In tickers Friday. So that'll give us the index survived, and should enable us to match these up. So if we do that, then we say Friday index blah blah blah. Friday index and train date index. So then we say train subset target 20 day 5 week index surviving gets we want to index into index this Friday, index this Friday, and then we say that's gonna get train index in 5 Fridays. 5 Fridays. Variable target 20 day. Index survived. Whew. All right. Cool. All right. Didn't like something there, so let's see. What did you not like? Unexpected token. Oh, okay. It's just a little slow. Train date index not found. Undefined columns selected. All right, so let's do a trace back and see where that's happening. And train index in 5 Fridays. Find columns. Oh yeah. I need column. I need comma there because it's a data frame. And let's rip on that again. All right, we got something. So, what do we have there? We've got we want to take a look at it. Oop. Okay. So, take a look at that. I'll say summary of train subset. And then we'll look at target 20-day 5 week. Okay, it's kind of bonkers. Because of the negative 888s in there. Let's say train subset fixed. Oh, yeah, let's copy that in there first, though. Greetings to everyone watching. Thank you for joining me. I really appreciate it. If you have any questions about R or like what I'm working on, I'd be glad to try to answer your questions. Coming towards the end of this stream, we've got about 20 more minutes before I call it a day. So now we want to, make a fixed version of this training subset. And we can refer back to train subset later if we want to look at how many 888s we have per Friday. So I'll make a new variable so we can just look back at that later if we want to. We'll say train subset fixed gets train subset. And we'll do a which statement here. We'll do some bewitching. We'll say which train subset target 20-day 5 week is greater than negative 888. And after we execute that, we'll run another summary, train subset fixed target 20-day 5 week. Okay. Cool. Seems like that's working. So now we want to replicate that for validation. Or for the the validation set. Validation date index. Oh yeah, I'm not trying to be a jerk. by wearing these sunglasses. I just am very sensitive to light right now, so these are helpful for me. And let's see what else we need to fix here. Target and validation, target, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, sure, fine. Yeah, sure, fine. Okay. Change train to validation. In that case, okay. Let's see. Minus 85, I think. Delete these, because I'll probably forget. Maybe we can do a count of the 888s. Maybe we'll start with the model next time, too. Yeah. Maybe we'll get to it. We'll see. Alright, let's run that all that validation data. Oh, cool. Very slightly different. Awesome. Yeah, you know, I want to know how many do we end up missing each week? Is it a significant amount? Okay, so I want to know, do we miss a significant amount of tickers each week this way? And I'm going to have to look at train. And going to have to look at validation. So we'll say for Friday in train subset Friday date. Count. And we'll set up count missing, count train missing as a vector. And we'll say, down here we'll say count train missing gets count train missing and tack onto the end. Number missing, and then we'll just define number missing up here. Number missing gets length We're probably going to make an index or more than one index here. It gets length of train subset. We'll say this one just for giggles. We'll throw an index called index missing. And we'll define index missing as train subset day 20 week is equal to negative 888. Which we should throw a which on that. So and then we'll plot it. Plot count train missing. So there may be some sort of error in here. Let's just run it and see what happens. Oh, I forgot to say unique. Remove that plot. Date, give that a descriptive name. We already have a name for that, don't we? Train date index. Friday index and train date index. Friday gets Friday's Friday index. It says it's 9,000 every time, which cannot possibly be right. Let's see. All right, let's test out Friday. Okay. Let's test out index missing. Oh, we didn't. I see. Friday index and then Friday equals that, so we want to say date index index as Friday. Which of those equals Friday? Say that's subset. And then we need to go index this Friday. Let's see what that looks like. Okay, that's more believable. It looks like it sort of centers around 125. But it dips in and out. And we'll do the same for validation. Although that's certainly some kind of cheating. And I'm just fixing these to make sense. Count validation missing. Maybe it will work. Maybe it won't. Oh, don't want to say validation train missing. Okay, let's try again. Alright, something's wrong there. Probably messed up either with indexing or left a train in there somewhere. Validation date index is okay. So let's look at Friday. We have a Friday. Index this Friday. Which validation subset Friday date is equal to Friday. Index missing. Which validation subset index this Friday equals -888. Okay. So there are a number of those. Count validation. Oh, I call the count validation train missing up here. There's a problem. Maybe. Maybe not. Okay. Okay. Yeah, writing over it there too. I did it basically everywhere. That's fine. Okay. That's a lot more concerning. Like, it's a really high number. So, an And then it's low, like looking more normal toward the end. Validation date index. Oh, okay. I know why. Minus 85. Because everything's all wonky. It still might be wonky after this. Let's see. I'm not sure. Alright, let's undo that. And then the Friday index should be good. Are we reusing Friday index anywhere lower? I'm not sure. So index is Friday, indexes into validation subset. Goes into validation subset. Goes into validation subset. Okay, so let's look again. Let's just run it all again. Just a clean run. Okay, looks weird. For sure. We got 86 through 160. Okay. Friday. Friday index is 160. Index is Friday. Which validation subset is equal to that? And we've got, we'll call it quits after a little bit more of trying to figure this out. Where's Friday? Date equals Friday. Okay. Index missing. There's a bunch. This is so weird. Why is it missing thousands every week and then not many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Starting 154. Alright, well, there's something wrong there. So we'll summarize the error. And next time we'll try to tidy that up and get into some modeling. Maybe we'll start bringing some outside data in as well. Well, that's it, everybody. Thank you for joining me. I sincerely appreciate you for joining me in this cast, and hope you all have a great day.